Here we are back in the cook's pantry, and today's first recipe, we are going to be working on giving your scones a bit of a facelift. Now, the first time I saw a scone recipe using lemonade, it blew my mind, and I made them and they were a success and I was really happy with them. But then started to think down the line of other carbonated drinks that would make it a little bit more interesting. And one of my absolute favorites, a good old ginger beer. So I've incorporated that into this recipe, boosted it with a little bit of powdered ginger. So super simple, no breadcrumb texture with the butter and the flour, and we've just got some very, very simple ingredients here. And I'm gonna show you how to put it all together. So what we're gonna do first is go in with all of our liquids. So we've got half a cup of thickened cream. Now the reason why we go liquids first is so we can get all of them incorporated, mix them, and then we can fold in the flour. We don't want to add the flour now and really have to work it. Scones need to be light, fluffy, delicate, crumbly. So that's why flour goes in last. All right, so we're gonna go in half a cup of ginger beer, a quarter cup of caster sugar, and then we're gonna go in with about a teaspoon of ground ginger. Now, ground ginger, fresh ginger, I don't think I've ever met anyone that doesn't like it. You know, you find those spices, those herbs that are a little bit polarizing, but I feel like ginger it's in our DNA. Everyone loves it. We love the warmth, we love the spice, we love the heat from it, and that's why I use it in so much of my cooking. So we've got all of our wet ingredients in there with the sugar and the ground ginger. I'm just gonna give that a quick whisk just to bring all of that together and to start to work that sugar through the liquid. What you need to make sure is if you're ever making scones with a carbonated drink, whether it's lemonade or ginger beer, you need to make sure that it's fresh. You want as much gas, as much carbonation in there as possible. That's what's gonna give us that beautiful texture that we love about our scones. So we've got 2 cups of self-raising flour here, and I'm just gonna sieve that in. And it's all about keeping everything really, really light and airy. It's the same principle if you're making a sponge. Victoria sponge, you'll see, they'll tell you to sift the flour 3 times before you mix it up with anything else. And that's a similar procedure to what we're doing here with the scones. Butter knives. Okay, so this is the tool that we're gonna be using to mix this in. And it might seem strange, but it's a little tip that I read about, and I've used it ever since, and I've also used it when I'm making other doughs as well. It just gives you that freedom, and you don't end up going in there with your hands and getting sticky fingers, because this is quite a wet dough and you want it to be that way. Okay, so we're just gonna work in circular motions just to pretty much cut the flour into the liquid and fold it through really gently. So this will probably take a couple of minutes to bring this together, and then we'll transfer it onto the board, bit of flour, and then just lightly knead it. All right, so we've got our scone dough just lightly come together. You can see there's still a couple of little cracks in there. You don't want to work it like a normal dough. You don't want a pizza dough or bread dough. So we're just gonna leave it nice and light, crumbly, just together. And I'm just gonna gently roll this out to about 1 inch thickness. We don't want to add too much flour to it as we go either. So try to refrain from doing that. All right. And that's what we want. So we should get 2 runs down that dough because of the size of this cookie cutter, all right? So again, another key, press down, don't twist, don't twist. So what that would do, twisting will inhibit the rise and the split, which is what you want. You know, you get a good scone and you can just break it perfectly in half with your hands. You don't have to cut it, that's what that will achieve. So we'll just push these down, and then we'll transfer them onto the baking tray, brush them with a little bit of milk in the oven at 220 for about 12 minutes, and they should be spot on. When I was talking about the perfect seam, that split that you want around, that's when you know you've nailed the scone, where you can grab it top and bottom and just snap it open like that. That's what a good scone should look like. Ginger beer scones, orange marmalade, a little bit of whipped cream. I feel like that's a fresh face on an afternoon tea classic.